Vicky, Alia, when I see the two of you as leads in a film, it also speaks to me of evolution in Hindi cinema. Right? You're this big Bollywood star, you're the poster boy for indie cinema, and you're both doing a movie that seems like a happy marriage of everything. So how do these kind of blurring boundaries benefit you as an artist, for both?
I think, like you said, it's benefiting the industry. I think hats off to the makers for thinking of this pair, and I truly feel blessed. Like you said, I feel blessed to be a part of the industry in this phase. Parts have been written where, a Vicky Kaushal could be a choice.
I don't like to believe that there's a difference in two actors for their film choices or for what they've done. Being boxed into a certain category, for me, mentally, I like to stay away from that. I let people do that, and I just consider myself an actor. So I don't see any difference between Vicky and I. Perhaps the only thing is, I've started off earlier and maybe done a few more films. But other than that, for me, he's an incredible actor that I've gotten an incredible opportunity to work with.
Likewise, and I think as actors, we don't label ourselves because then we are setting our own boundaries.
So Alia, you've of course always been a Dharma girl. Vicky, for you, it's the first. So what is it like? Is it like being invited to sort of the cool kids party?
In a way, it does. Yeah.
I was just thinking, it has to be. It has to be like, yes, they let me in.
I mean, there are these random moments when I'm sitting in the Dharma office having a cup of coffee and the coffee mug states Dharma. I just take a moment. It feels good, I mean, for this film also, when I got a call from Karan saying that, Meghna's making this film for us and she's thinking of you for a part, she finds you suitable for that part, and why don't you come to office and meet her? I was like, slow motion, BGM all going on. I'm like, and you feel nice, you feel grateful, you feel blessed that these kind of opportunities are coming your way.
I'm a big admirer of Aamir Khan's creative choices. I feel like he has the best gut in the business. So I asked him once, like, how do you do it? And he said he has the ability to look at the whole film rather than just his part in it, which is what enables him to do a film like Tare Zameen Par or Rang De Basanti, where he's not in every frame. Is that a hard art to cultivate, and do you think you have it, both of you?
It is difficult. I won't say difficult, but it's not always the first thing that people tend to look at. I mean, that's what the cliche thought is, that isme mera part kya hai. But I try to look at the film, and I think I do, because I also believe that it's the story and the screenplay that's king. First the screenplay actually, and then the story, because the story can be amazing, but the screenplay can be all over the place because of that. So if the screenplay of the film has something so powerful, and if I can be a part of that powerful screenplay, for me that's the best way to go. And sometimes you're a big part, sometimes you're an essential part, sometimes you're a small part. But as long as you're a part of it, I think it becomes a part of your filmography.
Vicky, can you see the whole?
I try to, because see, my entry into the industry was with a film like Masaan. It was a multi-narrative film. And I was just a part of one of those stories. My belief became stronger because for that film, people took back the story of the film. And that's how I realized that it's very important for the story to be the hero. That's truly what I feel. So when I'm reading a script for the first time or hearing a narration, I always at least try to have a POV of an audience, forgetting that they've approached me for this particular part in the story, but I try to judge it by the feeling I have post reading the entire script or hearing the entire narration as an audience. Okay, I was watching this film. What do I think of it? What do I feel about it? As a story. We really try to. Yeah, I think that's a very good approach.
Kate Blanchett just did an interview. So she's the jury head at the Cannes Film Festival, and she just did this long, amazing interview in which she said our primary job as artists is to be fearless. Do you think that's true? And what's the biggest professional risk you've taken?
The essence is true, because by being fearless, you take certain decisions that one would not take, maybe because of like thinking too much of, oh no, this may not work for my image, my vibe, my this, my that, and how I'm portrayed. But technically speaking, fear also is a good emotion. It makes you vulnerable. It makes you not invincible. It gives you a sense of being grounded. So while I choose to be fearless with my choices, there is fear that, or not fear I would say, but there is a certain awareness that this is all temporary, and the one wrong move could, and that one wrong move could also be through my behavior and through my attitude, could kind of move things around and mess with it a bit.
So what would you qualify as like a big risk for yourself?
I think every shot we give is a risk that we take, because we're exposing our inner self completely. We're being naked in a way, and that for me is being fearless as an actor. Because see, emotion, I mean, many times you have to feel it for the first time in the middle of a shot. You can't really prep for that emotion when you leave your house, okay, knowing that, this is the scene we're going to do today. It has to be felt when you're doing that scene. And you don't know if you'll be able to feel that, because of whatever exterior reasons or whatever. I think that's the risk we always take as actors, and that's something that we feel nice about also when we overcome it, when a shot is done. And then sometimes you do get that feeling, oh wow, I mean, I felt that for the first time. I mean, that's what happened with me in Masaan, in that breakdown scene. I didn't know that this is going to happen with me, but it happened, and I was like, there was a certain truth in it, that I really, really felt it. And those are moments that you really cherish as an actor, So yeah.
She was also, of course, referring to the whole movement about gender equality in cinema, and she said we refuse to go back to ground zero as far as women's rights are concerned. And Alia, I'm asking you this because a lot of people ask me, and honestly I don't have an answer about why Me Too and Time's Up hasn't come to the Hindi film industry yet. It's happened in Pakistan, it's happened in the Telugu film industry. What do you think is really holding us back from, what do you think is holding back women here from stepping out and saying it?
There is a very big misconception that if you have been sexually assaulted or molested or been exploited in any kind of way, with the kind of culture that we come from, there is a certain reservation, and I'm saying this only because I also portrayed a character like this in Highway. There is a certain sense that it becomes your fault, and then your families look at you in a certain way, and then there's this whole thing attached with who's going to marry me, and where am I going to go after this, and how will people look at me. It becomes like the girl's fault. I think that's a misconception that I feel has been and has kind of driven people away from confronting their problems, number one, to their parents or to an official body or even to themselves. So I don't know if that's the reason, but I can say that is a very big factor in why people don't talk about it in the first place. Another big thing is, I feel like in the small towns especially, there are a lot of hospitals and medical bodies, and I was having a conversation with someone about this recently, so I'm saying this, who do not really know the procedure correctly to be followed after a girl has been inflicted either with with rape or with anything to do sexually and any sexual abuse. There is a certain procedure you have to follow in handling that case, and most people don't know that procedure is very sensitive. And they'll end up neglecting a lot of it because a lot of the doctors in this field are not really, and I'm speaking about this in the small towns especially, are not very well versed with the concept of how important a gynecologist is. So it is a very grassroots problem.
But why in the film industry hasn't it come up? I mean, here are women who are, educated, sort of.
See, I have to say that film industry, Anu, is the front. The people, a part of the industry, are eventually people that belong to the country. So the girls...
So it's a larger mindset.
Exactly. It's the larger mindset. And no matter what happens, we are part of this society. So we do somehow become kind of monkeys, a part of one, kind of aping the same ideology. Even if it may be something like this. I mean, my only thing is that I constantly say there are some... It takes a lot of guts to come out there and speak about it. And you just need to know that it's not your fault. So you should speak about it and know that it's not your fault. And nothing's going to happen to you. But it's very difficult. It's easier said than done.
Absolutely.
It's difficult because then they can turn around and say, what's going to happen to me after that? Like, for one hashtag, what's going to happen to me post that? So I think all in due time, I guess.
Yeah. Both of you are industry kids with very different journeys. Vicky, you've spoken in interviews about growing up in a very small flat in Malad and the 10 years it took for your father to go from being a stuntman to being an action director. How did these experiences sort of shape you as an actor?
I feel first and foremost, the biggest advantage I had of having my father from the industry was that I had a reality check all the time. I wasn't a guy who came into the industry with just candy flossed eyes about the industry. That I wasn't delusioned. I knew that it takes a lot of sincerity, a lot of hard work to expect any kind of rewards. And in fact, when I told my father that I don't want to be an engineer, but I want to be an actor, his first question was, why? Because you think I'm related to the industry and you think that your path is going to be easy. So I had this clear picture because he always gave me that harsh reality of things, as they are. It's not a really pretty picture. You have to really work. I mean, everybody in this industry is aiming for the moon, nothing less than that. And you have to really try and reach out to the sun to, in fact, reach the moon. So I feel that was the biggest advantage that I had, and he always said, I'm always there with you as a father, but not as an action director. I have my own journey, I have my own struggles, and I know nothing about acting. What you are doing, like I said, you have to be naked. You will get caught if you don't know your job. Camera is brutal. And so he said, it's going to be your own journey, and I'm glad it was that way.
So what are the unique pressures of being a Hindi film actor today? Like, what is the one thing that you really hate?
Hate?
Yeah.
Hate is very strong.
Okay, dislike, get annoyed with.
I don't know, I just love it too much.
I think honestly,
You like it all.
I mean, I treat it as a privilege. I mean, I truly feel it's a luxury to be an actor.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be an actor and to be getting opportunities, to showcase your work. And
yeah, I mean, there are things that you need to overcome, and feelings and emotions and like challenges and sometimes a film's journey is not like easy and all like glamorous and beautiful. It is rockety and it is like a bit all over the place, but I think that's also what we enjoy. In solving a problem and in overcoming challenges, I think that's where your true happiness lies. And to make it at the end of the line and then find a new mountain to climb.
And also, it's such a personal process,
Yeah.
being an actor. There are many times that you're on set and you're in a certain headspace which people around you are not aware of, because you have to get into a scene or whatever. But there's a different atmosphere going on set, but you have to cut everything off and just be in a certain space, your own little bubble, so that you can be that honest in front of the camera when the time comes.
Did the two of you have very different acting styles? The process that you bring to it?
What I could sense of Alia, I think Alia is one of those actors who really can switch on and off. It's fantastic, and that's something I want to learn, I want to reach to.
But you are also like that only. He's very silent. Like, it's not like...
But I know, personally, I really need to seep into something. I just can't be ta-ta-ta-ta-ta and just... I need that.
You need to brew.
Yeah, I need to do that.
And you don't need to do that.
I'm sure I need to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think about it.
But it's amazing how like sometimes you really get thrown off when you're performing with Alia, because she just she'll be like you hear action and it's a different being in front of you. But that's a job. But still,
Yeah.
it's just
But you are also
amazing.
like that. I don't understand what.
But
you're
I
saying.
can't say that about myself because I don't see myself.
Yeah,
Right?
but he's exactly like that. Totally fuss free and like. In fact, one day we were doing one emotional scene and he was like, I went to him and I went on set and he was going off set. I had to go do my shot and he was just going back and he was really looking like very tired and like that. And also I was like, oh, he was in character. Then he came on set later and he was sick. So I said, what happened? He said, I'm sick. So I said, I thought you were performing. So he said, no, I'm just sick. He said it helped, I guess. So, not one of those actors who's like really taking the emotional scenes very like, I like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's nice.
It's
I don't need to
easy.
see your process. You do your thing.
Yeah, it's easy.
I'd asked Karan about casting actors in romances, and I said, this whole thing about chemistry, and he said, there's no such thing as chemistry. If they're good actors, there's chemistry, and if they're bad actors, there is no way to create chemistry. Is that right?
The thing is, I feel chemistry is what you feed off one another. So now I feel this because I feel like if an actor is not into giving to me, then it's difficult for me to build something with the person. So there has to be a give and take.
So
like
exchange.
there has to be an exchange, exactly. Otherwise, there will be just like one person who's into oneself and the other person who's trying to be into the other, or again into oneself. You can tell, like when two people are just not even looking at each other, or like they're looking at the right eye so that their look is more towards the camera. You can tell.
Facing.
Exactly.
Yeah, Richard once told me about some actor who was blocking the light in a way that it would all be on him. I was like, wow, that must take some serious thinking, yeah. कि scene के बीच में मैं इधर आ जाऊँ, light यहाँ गिरेगी.
See, that's also an art to catch your
It is
light
an
and
art.
hit
It
your
really
mark.
is.
It is.
I love
Really
doing
is.
that
Really?
because that's nice. I like that. I like being a favorite of the DOP. That's a different thing.
Did you know this? Did you know this?
मैं mark पकड़ लूँ वही बहुत बड़ी बात है. So my focus is on the mark, but then light and everything I
But
lose
this
track of.
looking
I'm
thing, I mean, I know I won't cut the shot, but I know if an actor's covered my light. I
Yeah.
can tell.
But that can't happen. Like कभी कभार हो जाता है. Like, you know, technically you have to be can you look to the left of
I can't do
Alia?
that. I hate
can't
it.
do that. I'm like, I need to look into the eyes.
Yeah, I hate it when they say,
that's a
look at his ear. I said,
Yeah.
I'm looking at such a romantic scene. How am I supposed to look at his ear?
Okay, tell me what's your sort of singular memory of Raazi? What is the most joyous thing from this
Joyous?
film that you will take away with you?
I think for me it has to be the screen test that I gave for the film. I didn't know that Alia is going to join me for the screen test. She was very sweet to join me just to give the cues, and yeah, that was something special. I mean, that was just the beginning, because right after the screen test I was told that you're on board, and that was it's a special feeling.
And for you?
I think honestly that we spent a lot of time in Patiala. So for me the whole experience in Patiala was very special, because it was like we were like one big, not big, like we were like one small family, and there was no time to really do anything. But we were just kind of living the characters, and it was really hectic. But I liked that madness. That will always remain very special to me.
Thank you, and all best for the movie.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Alia Bhatt.
And this is Vicky Kaushal.
And if you like this video, then please like, share.
Comment and subscribe to Film Companion.